Hey guys, and welcome to the AMA that I wanted to do, and we're gonna have quite some interesting questions. Once and for all, we have them from the Reddit thread that I created, and then we also have them from the Discord server from my really supportive community that we created over the years, or the year that I'm streaming right now. So I would like to answer a few questions, starting with the first question here on the Reddit. I hope you guys can see it on the right side on your screen. Have you ever lost to Imperius? A question from You Say Yes, I Say No. I have to say, I'm not aware of all of his Smurf accounts, so I think that there's definitely some chance that I lost a game or two. But from me knowing that I played against Imperius a couple of times, I don't think that I've lost any encounters in a tournament, at least. Maybe in ladder, but in a tournament, not going to happen. And in ladder, probably one map. Who knows? Like, I really don't know for sure. So we have another question coming in from FCSD. What's wrong with your attitude towards Warcraft and the scene, dude? Why so not professional lately? What's going on with your life? What are your goals for the future? And will you do more guides? So let's break it down to like a few more questions. What's wrong with your attitude towards Warcraft and the scene, dude? I think this is like regarding the WCA incident where I dropped out because I had to go to Gamescom for like a business opportunity that I had accepted a while ago, even before the date came out for the WCA qualifier. So these kind of like things collided. Maybe it's not the wisest choice to let this collide. I know that there was a WCA stage on Gamescom ground. Maybe invite players to play from there. Maybe just have like a local qualifier being played here in Germany, or I don't know, like there's definitely some room for improvement. You shouldn't like let this collide. It's one of the biggest gaming trade fairs there is, so probably guys will be busy even if this game is old. So I don't know, this was definitely not the best kind of like scheduling that was done there. So that was definitely a problem, and since I accepted that business opportunity, I definitely took that one. And yeah, I don't regret it. Like I tried to go through the winner bracket. If I would have made it against Orkworker, I would have been top 3 guaranteed, and then I would probably travel home one day or take my stuff with me and play from the ESL office. Because also, like, Johan was asking me, aka Todd, and he was like, why are you not playing? Why are you dropping out of the tournament? And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to go through that struggle of like commuting like every single day for like 2 hours or something, like between Cologne and the city that I'm living in, just to play that tournament. That was not worth it for me. And I also, like, if I do something, like, I don't do shit half-ass. So I really wanted to go for that kind of like drop zone gig that I had, and it was really a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it, and I still think that game is great. Beside that, what's going on with your life? I finished my bachelor degree, so I'm now applying for a job. I wanted to go for the master's in the first place. Didn't get the spot that I was looking forward to get, and only ended up with a few spots that are not like super attractive to me, so I skip on that idea for now. Maybe a master degree later down the road, but for now I'm applying for jobs. What are your goals for the future? Will you do more guides? My goals for the future is like to sustain a really nice community, and I think we already achieved that with the Twitch community that I've built, and also the Twitch community that is built around Back to Warcraft. Just to keep like the Warcraft action coming, keep you guys entertained. Will I do more guides? Probably. I'm looking into it. It's like a lot of stuff that I have to think about. Also, guides are a lot of work. If you want to do like some in-depth kind of guide, like explaining your strategies, you have to make sure to put some work into it, to take some notes, to find a certain replay that is a good showcase for that kind of thing. So in general, I would like to do more, and there's probably coming 1 or 2 more in the near future, but about the rest, I don't really know. How's his attitude? Saw him on Twitch a few times, didn't notice anything unusual with his attitude. Am I missing something? That's not really a question, but thank you for that, like, Eki P-Tang Zubuing. Thank you very much for intercepting that, but whatsoever. Your thoughts on the Scepter of Mastery? The Scepter of Mastery. I've never heard that term. I cannot really think about anything like that. Is this maybe the human staff? Scepter of Mastery? I have no idea. So we're gonna skip on that question in Mazier. If you could be a little bit more specific in the YouTube comments, I will try to get back to it and answer it like in a more accurate fashion. Have you ever made a successful surround? Dude, I can only recommend you to watch this piece here. Oh, where is it again? Twitch clips. There is a surround. Dude, you won't believe it. Wait. It's coming. It's coming. It's happening. Is somebody surrounding a footman? Wow. A beautiful surround on a footman. You can't ask for more, right? You can't ask for more. So this is the answer to the question. Yes, sometimes I can surround, but only when it counts, right? So do you think Warcraft will have a second wind? I don't think so. I think like the NetEase kind of structure is pretty good for the Asian part, like especially China. They will have a pro scene for at least a few more years. Korea is also like stepping up, a few old names coming back to the scene. Everybody's trying to do their best, and so on and so on. But most of the time, I have to say, like, these guys that are coming back, they might have like a really nice bank account so that they can try to make some extra money to just like spending on living costs and stuff like that while playing the game that I really enjoyed and make them like wealthy in the first place. So I'm not sure if the second wind is coming. I would appreciate it if more people are coming back to Warcraft and watching these kind of games and watching streams and so on. That would be really cool, but I highly doubt it. Who is, in your opinion, the most creative human player back in the old days and currently? Back in the old days, it's the one and only Angry Korea Man. I have never seen anyone like that. And I think in the new days or currently, it's definitely TH coming with like so many crazy things. Like, I remember the moment when he shackled a gargoyle against like 10 gargs with only 2 hogs, and then he banishes that garg so it cannot be attacked. That will forever stick in my mind, and it was like mind-boggling to see that. It's just like amazing stuff coming out of TH with different races and stuff like that. He's just great. So Rolik is coming in with a question. Back in 2003, 2004, I played you in the ESL German Open 1-on-1 League as well as in the Amateur Series. Basically one of my first Warcraft 3 games on ESL. As far as I know, one of your first in the league as well. Your account name was still Sway. I was Undead, you were Human, you played Mass Tanks, probably in both best of 3s. I hated you. Later, I obviously found out who you became. A little bit of hate is still there for playing tanks, but in general, I'm happy that you're still around. Not a question, just a little story from the past. Warcraft 3 hype. Thank you very much, Rolik, for contributing that beautiful story. I can't really recall to that moment, but it sounds pretty cool that you are around for such a long time and now realizing that I'm also still there. And that we have played like when I was still a pleb. That's like damn fun. How long is your schlong? Pretty damn long. Like, you can barely imagine, man. Like, it's monstrous. I can't really talk about it. I can't put it into words. I'm speechless even thinking about it. Like, what can I do? How easy are your Katkas usually? Rand for Lee, I think you are from the beautiful Russian community. And yeah, my Katkas usually, for everyone that watches my stream, they are pretty damn easy. Like, even if it looks hard, these card guys have been easy, like, throughout the last years. Do you think Undead is underpowered currently? And if so, what would you suggest to balance them? A Ghosty is asking that. Do you think Undead is underpowered currently? I don't think so. Seeing what 120 is able to pull off with Undead, seeing what Happy is able to pull off with Undead, just shows me that it took years. It took a lot of people to try to figure the Undead playstyle out, but it feels like there were a few minds that were just like coming too late to the party to show the world what Undead is capable of, and Undead just requires a different playstyle. Every single race got a kind of like a different approach about the game, especially in the different matchups they are like facing each other off. So Undead in general, I wouldn't say underpowered. They had like Undead against Orc for a long time was imbalanced. Everybody was like counting on Orcs and winning against Undeads all the time. If you're seated in a clan war against an Undead player as an Orc player yourself, it was always like supposed to be the free win. For a long time that was correct, but nowadays I feel like if Fly or 120 are facing each other or Lun against 120, 120 is not only taking maps, he's like taking best of 3s. W of that did it like really, really well. And I don't think that Undead players are underpowered. It just takes a little bit of a different approach and a crazy micro, of course. It's really micro intense. So that race is designed that way, and you gotta play it to the fullest. And if you do that, it's not underpowered at all. Maybe it's not as easy to learn as other races, but it's definitely, if you play it to the fullest, it's damn effective and balanced, I feel, at the top level. King Harry is asking, warum hat BVB nur 2-2 gespielt? King Harry? Ich denke, wir müssen darüber reden. Ich denke, ich weiß nicht, womit sie sich da beschäftigen, aber ich habe dieses Spiel nicht gesehen. Real Madrid hat verdient, nicht gewonnen, und das zählt. Got good names all gone. What will happen first? Undead wins a huge tournament. Undead gets a buff. We will get a patch. Probably Undead wins no tournament, but gets a buff. I think that's going to happen first. I don't see a lot of Undead players being qualified for WCA. 120. maybe, but it would be a big surprise. And it's getting a buff. There should be a patch around the corner. It was announced like a couple of months ago. We are basically all waiting for it. It didn't happen so far, so everybody is waiting for it. Is it going to happen anytime soon? Nobody knows. Is there a 100 buff coming with that? Nobody knows. Is it basically consisting of nerfs? Nobody knows. So AJ, sup bro, are you regretting the fact that you won't be performing in WCA 2016 finals? Absolutely not. I would like to go to China every single time again, but expect of being for that. To be honest, like WCA 2015 was the worst organized tournament I've seen in a long time. The playing conditions were horrible. Accommodation was good. I don't want to blame them on that. It was a 5-star hotel. What can possibly go wrong, right? It was way too far away from the venue and stuff like that. I stated it in a different video. Check it out, the vlog that I did back then about that, like, or the summary that I did about WCA 2015. So I won't miss that experience of going to WCA 2016. I hope everything will be a little bit better, or a lot better in some regards. And I hope that everybody that goes there will have a good time. And yeah, visiting China is always fun. I would like to go there, like, of course, but not in that tournament environment. And it's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen next year, since I'm not going to compete for it any longer. And yeah, that's out of the window. How do you feel about finals against Fly now? It still hurts a little bit every now and then when I think about it. Could have won that final, could have gotten like the championship title to my belt and then retired with like being a champion. Now I'm just a YAWS champion, which is basically worth nothing because you're the first loser. The guy that lost in the final, nah, that's not too much fun to think about it. But in general, it was a great experience being in a Grand Final in China and having these matches against Fly. It could have been a little better. I think if I wouldn't be ill or wouldn't have been ill that time, I could have performed better and probably won that. But yeah, whatever. Let's not think about the stuff that already happened. Salute from Serbia, my man. Hope you won't give up on Warcraft 3 ever. Was ist das für ein Live? Das spricht man ein aus, du Vogel. Yeah, I knew. I was pronouncing it all wrong, Stevie. Thank you very much for reminding me. There you go. Now we got the legend himself, We Are Fools, one of the guys who had got the highest level on W3 Arena. Still, what do you think are some factors that contribute to your excellent performance in offline tournaments? Do you just not become nervous like other people might, or do you enjoy the crowd? I want to answer this part of the question first. So, what I think makes an excellent performance in offline tournaments is, like, of course, like, being very calm, being very focused, and being in the moment. That's probably the most important lesson. Like, everything, like, when I'm focused on the game, everything else around the monitor will just vanish. You are, like, diving deep into the game, and you're basically playing the game to the fullest. Your mind is, like, completely focused on the game. You're not really thinking about the game as you play it. It's more like you're just doing the things that you usually do, and it feels very natural playing like that. Plus, I really enjoy being on the stage and playing in front of people and like entertaining people or entertaining the crowd with my kind of like play, with my kind of like Warcraft skills that I have. So I think the entertainment value is what comes first for me, and I really enjoy that. Like, I really like to go up on stage and have a good time. And yeah, that's just like I think that plays very well together, and this is the reason why I'm playing so well in the offline environment. And I also like to play a lot of mind games with my opponents, like doing the cheeky kind of wink and doing some crazy stuff. Like when I win a map, I'm gonna look at him and see how he feels about it and stuff like that. There are all these little tiny subtle things that definitely make a difference, and yeah, for that I enjoy it. Also, I noticed that you have no problem switching between resolution and Warcraft 3 depending on whether you're playing W3 Arena or NetEase. Do you think your adaptability helps you in these tournaments where you don't have the same setup as at home, chair height, monitor height, etc.? Yeah, that's also something that's really important that I have learned. I think it was a lesson from Grubby that he said during Gamescom, and we had like a little pep talk or a little after talk after WCA qualifier last year, where he basically said, like, whenever a Korean like went to an offline tournament and he played against him, even if the Korean was like super sick and he had a flu or he slept totally, he had the worst sleep of his life, jet lag, everything like that, if you meet that Korean and talk to him and you ask him like, do you think you can win? Then the Korean will always respond with like, yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to win that, like, let's play. Even though he feels really bad, and they just take every single keyboard there is, they take the mouse that there is like locked onto that computer, and they won't blame it on the setup, they won't blame it on the environment, they will just have that kind of like thought in mind that they will compete with you and they will probably win against you. And probably this kind of belief or this kind of adaptability, whatever you want to call it, like not questioning stuff too much, like making the environment, like, I don't know, like forming the environment to your advantage. Also, like what I did during WCA offline tournament, like in China, was like getting me another chair, getting me this or that, getting me like a heating pad from my translator girls and whatever. Like, own the place, go there, own the place, go there, like there, this is your tournament. Like, already try in your mind, like create that kind of mindset, like you are seeing yourself with that trophy and stuff like that. And I'm just like going to a tournament and I'm owning that place. Like, this is my chair, this is my table, this is basically like where I live and whatsoever. Like, this is how I think about it. And I think a lot of stuff comes from mindset kind of things, because Warcraft 3 skills might be like equal. Like, if you see a lot of people like compared to each other, they might have all the same skill level. But what really strikes out is like that kind of like mindset, or that kind of like mindset of a champion, or whatever you want to call it, that like separates players from each other, like keeping calm in the moment and stuff like that. So which player would you say is the greatest of all time, and which one achieved the highest skill level? Do you think that greatness is more than skill level? Which player would you say is the greatest of all time? I think for me personally, I feel that Moon is the greatest of all time. Of course, I feel like what he achieved, despite the fact that he didn't win like consecutive WCG titles or anything like that, but what he achieved was like that people still know him for being the very best kind of guy, the fifth race, the guy that everybody looks up for. Like, he has been on top over and over again, redefining his game, redeveloping new strategies, rethinking everything that he did in the past, and creating new stuff, creating his own kind of style. And this, like, I had that feeling when I was like winning the EPS. The first thing, like the first time you win the EPS, is like you're happy and you imagined it a little bit more crazy when you actually win it, because you had like all the crazy thoughts, like if I am able to win that one, I will be super happy, I will be like full of joy and stuff like that. The moment you win that one is like the moment where you're thinking like, okay, that's great, but that's it, right? Like, this is all the feelings that I get. And beside that is like the second season, or the season after you're the champion, after you are number one, you are declared number one for that period of time. Afterwards, you are the one that everybody is chasing for. Everybody is chasing you, and staying on top is way harder than getting to the top, is what I personally felt. And I really learned that lesson, and I think it's like really, really hard to stay on top of your game through like such a long period of time. And this is what I really think is incredible about Moon. Do you think that greatness is more than skill level? Absolutely. There are so many great stories. Like, for me, he's not only the greatest player for that, also for stories like he's sitting at the Paris airport after, I think, ESWC or something like that, and he needs to go home, and he missed his flight or something like that. He meets a girl. That girl helps him to get a new ticket. That girl misses the flight because she was helping him, and then he just buys her like a new ticket for the full price just so she can get home as well. That's the kind of guy that Moon is, right? And this is what makes him so great about like everything that he did in the past, and that is why he was the greatest player of them all for me personally. What are your thoughts in general about the competitive scene in Prime versus now? I think you have a pretty unique perspective, as you have been successful in both periods. Is the skill level higher now? Is it more competitive? Would a driven 15-year-old Manuel Shankweizen transported to today's scene become the best in the world after a few years, or would today's Infi Fly Lin be too strong? So let's try to answer this real quick. What are your thoughts about the general competitive scene in Warcraft Prime versus now? The Prime, just like if you have like this kind of pyramid kind of picture in your head, in the Prime we of course had this huge base of players, and then we had like towards the pyramid where the pro players are, it was also like everything was a little bigger. We had more players that tried to create like breakout performances. We had more players that were actually on the top battling it out. We had like different kind of like perspectives colliding with the game. The game was still fresh. We have a lot of balance patches, so we had like to figure out what's strong right now, what works best. And this is like, since a few years, everything is like basically settled. Like, the dust has settled, the strategies are all there. You have seen pretty much everything. Maybe we have seen like 98% of Warcraft and what is possible. Every now and then you get like this tiny glimpse of something new happening, but that's like all of it. So I think like this makes the difference. Like, back then it was way harder because These guys were pioneers. They were the guys figuring the game out in the first place, trying to set up strategies that we are still playing right now. And I think I give a lot more credit to the guys back then than I give it to the guys right now. While the scene right now, everything I want is like the pyramid got like way smaller, the base is like tiny, and everybody that remains and is still playing the game already got all the answers, like all the missing puzzle pieces. Like back then there were a lot of people that had like so many missing puzzle pieces in their strategies, but right now everybody who is still playing is basically running for Warcraft on a very high level, and that's like very different. And I think we right now see the highest level of Warcraft that could have ever been played. So this is like what Warcraft could look like if they all kept playing, and maybe it can get even more crazy, more perfect, more outstanding. And yeah, that's my answer to that. It was definitely more competitive, but right now, like, the gap between the players is as tiny as it possibly can be. Like, everybody can beat everybody. This is still my approach, and I stick to it until, like, I think I will stick to it till the end. So would a driven 15-year-old Manuel Chenko transported to today's scene become the best in the world? Hard to say, very hard to say. Right now it would be very hard to catch up with these guys. You can see how long it took Foggy to actually catch up to some of these guys, and he's still not done catching up with all of them. Especially like the top level that he needs to beat if he wants to be like a professional player and wants to gain some serious money. So it would definitely take Grubby a lot of time and a lot of effort and willpower to overcome these obstacles and be the best in the world. But that's if you declare that is your goal, to be the best in the world, then you have a goal that you can look for, and that is the goal that you can set and that you can try to achieve. But you never know if that works or not. But it's basically like that one theory that there is, like, in terms of like learning process and stuff like that. If I started learning right now and you start in a month and I keep learning and learning at the same speed as you do it, you will never catch up to me. And this is how I think about it. Like, as long as these guys keep developing their game, it will be rather hard for you to catch up. But as everybody is like practicing only a little bit, if you practice a lot, maybe you can overcome that obstacle and beat them in the end. But whatsoever, I hope I answered that question, We Are Fools, and I hope you had like some insights in that. So stay beautiful as well. Thank you very much for that. That was a pretty good question. How do you see yourself compared to other European players if you were to play them at LAN? If you could do a top 5 EU players based on how you think they would perform at LAN, that would be cool. As everyone else here, I'm glad for all the things you have done for Warcraft. Mr. Edgy, good luck with the stream and Warcraft 3 in the future. Puke, thank you very much for that. If everybody in Europe is battling it out, who would be top 5 in a LAN environment? It's very hard. I think my top 5 picks would be Hawk. He's performing very well offline as well. Hawk would be in that top 5. Then we would have had, like, I think I have to name Foggy as well. Rudin is pretty good offline, not as good as he is online. So okay, let's scratch. No, actually I want to take Rudin on the list. I think he's still a great player. And then we have these 3 already. I don't know how Awkworker will do in an offline environment. Cheshi, I think his WEC performance was not that great, so his offline performance is also like, he just lacks of experience, maybe, I don't know for sure. It's very hard. It's very hard to name 5 players and make a ranking out of them, but I think if everybody battles it out right now, Foggy might be top 1, then we probably have Hawk or Awkworker, despite the fact that Hawk is like practicing World of Warcraft or playing World of Warcraft. If he goes up to his normal shape, then we have like these 2 guys. Then we have probably me and guys like Warchief Rich, who is also a great player, and I really have a lot of respect for him. And yeah, Sonic is also great, like Sonic or Chechi. Yeah, these are my names, my picks, and this is what I stick for. Do you think Zapper speed scrolls should exist? And one more question, how do you compare the legacy of Sky, Todd, Infi, and Thu, or TH? Zapper speed scroll should exist? Yes, it should. There's ways to fix that one. You can, as another player, send skeletons to the laboratory to check for that. You can even park a ghoul there. If you see the Blade Master going there, kill the ghoul. You have to be very cautious with that. it just requires a lot of attention from you, a lot of thinking, and a lot of like creating your base in a certain way and blocking and creating like not as many allies towards your ziggurat as you probably want to have, so that you can block them with your ghouls fast enough. But yeah, I think that should exist. Zappa Rejuvenation? That's a very hard question. Zappa Rejuvenation, I think that's even more broken, but whatever. How do you compare the legacy of Sky, Todd, Infi, and TH? The legacy of Sky is untouched. This guy he turned into a legend, winning WCG consecutive times and just playing the game on the highest level as well. And his legacy will last forever. That was just like great. For Todd, on the other hand, he was like forcing his own way into the scene and forging his own path of success. Like back in China, when he lived there, he lived in Korea, he had a great time. His legacy is a different one. He's like a foreigner going to Asia, going to South Korea and China and having a good time, playing tournaments, winning tournaments, and also like leaving his footprint in the world. That was just amazing. Infi and TH, kind of the newcomers after these guys retired. Infi, of course, like a dominating force these days. Everybody will like imagine or will remember him for that. And also his tower kind of strategies back in the days where he was like basically consisting of like billions of towers all over the map. And TH, for being the creative type of Warcraft guy, he will always be remembered, I think. Like everybody will remember the genius playing multiple races and being like outstanding as a human player. So thank you, Mr. Township Rebellion, for asking this. Then we have Minder on the table. Boobs or ass? Definitely ass. Dude, I'm the ass kind of guy. I like them asses. This is the flow rider kind of way of life. Your WCA one was the biggest German Warcraft 3 accomplishment ever. Why weren't there more successful German players in the history of Warcraft? 3.14 Henry. That's a really good question. Usually I think like about this as follows, because in Germany, the living cost is quite high. When you play as a pro player in Warcraft, if you play like on the highest level of Warcraft that you can achieve while you're studying at the same time, because you basically can only do it as a part-time job or hobby. So in your free time, you're playing Warcraft, you're trying to get to be the best. There were guys like Hazorps, for example, who took a year off and tried his best. I think he got only a top 3 international placement at a LAN where not everybody was there. To not take any credit away from him, but he was not able to pull it off with a year of practice, like fully committed to Warcraft. So I feel like usually in Germany what happens is like you do this as a hobby, then you kind of like go studying, and while you study you also try to play Warcraft, or this is how most people did it back then. And then at a certain point in time, when you are almost about to finish your studies, you immediately quit that, and then you go to pursue a normal career in whatever kind of field you studied in. And this is how it worked like back then, and maybe today is a different time. Maybe today more people could have made like a living out of it, like having streaming, having tournament, having EPS and stuff like that. So more Germans would have been able to take it a little bit more seriously. Of course, they could have actually afford to make a living out of that. But as it goes and as it is right now, there are not many German players left, and no one committed as hard as I did, or no one ever showed as much like I don't know, practice or whatever it is. It's like a mix of practice, having the right time, having a good grit and stuff like that. All this comes together, and then you maybe have a good tournament run, and this is how it works, I feel. What's your job right now? I'm still looking for one. Have you studied? Yes, I did my bachelor degree in economics and sports management, and I'm now pursuing a career in whatever kind of field, like maybe esport, maybe like normal kind of corporate job. We're gonna see about that. In a Back to Warcraft stream, you have promised to show yourself naked. Why don't you hold your promise? Dude, that's like a very sick question, and yes. I said I would strip naked if that game will be won by TH, and in the end he pulled it off, so I caught off guard. I caught with the pants down already. This is like the kind of naked that I expected to show the world. Like my kind of like setup was like this, and I hope that answers your question, mate. So let's move on to the community questions that I got on my Discord channel that you can still join if you want to. So I also ask you guys to put down some questions here. I'm not sure if you will be able to read them on stream, so I'm gonna read them out loud as well. Ina is asking, why are you so disrespectful? That's just the kind of guy I am, you know. This is like how I treat the people in the world. Sometimes I'm the kind of nice guy, and other times I will be the guy sticking to my own kind of limits and sticking to my own beliefs instead of like caring all too much about others. This is like sometimes people don't like me that much, and I hurt some people's opinions and feelings and what so. But this is how we roll here, right? This is how the stream is set up, and this is how you guys know me. And I will probably not change in that regards. Do you feel bullied by orcs? Yeah, sometimes. If I get body blocked on NetEase, this is triggering me like nothing in the world. Like people having a 0 ping over my 200 ping and blocking me with 2 grunts so that my Archmage cannot move. Nothing gets me as salty as that. So I definitely get bullied by orc players. Can you identify with being an Archmage? Riding on a horseback dressed as a wizard. I don't see myself like that. I'm more the kind of guy like a panda. Maybe a panda, yes. I think I'm a really cool panda. Yeah, that works better with me, I feel. Drinking some, having a good time. Spending most of the time in the tavern. Could be something that I could enjoy or see my life going that direction. Does your girlfriend ever watch your stream? Dude, Tobar, I can't talk about too much right now on the stream because you know how it is, right? The eyes are everywhere. She's like basically looking wherever she can. It's like her personal kind of Big Brother channel where she can tune in and see what I'm doing. And if I'm not responding to the phone calls and I'm still playing video games. Toba, you know, this is all I can share at this point. But we have some lurkers out there that are paying good attention to what happens on the stream. Would you make love to a pleb like myself? Arzonix, I know that we have a very special relationship and that I will never forget. I tell you that, my friend. I definitely tell you that. So, what is your reaction when you see 7 destroyers? That's probably my reaction. While I'm building a lot of towers in the meantime. But usually if I see 7 destroyers, that's over. That game is over. Or if the destroyers don't have mana, I go like full like gyrocopters in it, flying experience tombs, granting my Mountain King level 5. Thank you very much. What's your favorite song? And my favorite song right now, I have to check my Spotify for that. I cannot really tell you that like blindly. But I have that one song that I really like to listen to right now. That is in this house playlist. It's See You by Lionset. And in general, like my favorite song that I like, all-time favorite song, it's probably by Mark Ronson, like Wee-haw or something like that. That is like a song that I really enjoy. One of the good songs that I live up to. What alcoholic drink do you like to drink the most? I think if I go for alcoholic drinks, I like Radler, which is like, for some people that we have talked about it on the stream, it's nothing compared like beer. Some people think like it's beer for pussies or whatever, but I really enjoy Radler. I also enjoy tequila a lot, like in terms of shots. Like drinking a tequila is like, I can live with that. I can go like that, and makes me feel better with the world. So these questions are answered. Then we have therefore, have you slept well today? Dude, I slept like a baby, even though that I casted at 8 o'clock with Neo, but it was damn fun. So it was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. Let's see, Topa is coming in with a smiley. Then we have Neo. What would be your plan for a romantic date with romantic? That's a very good question. I'm out of that dating world for quite some years, but what would be my romantic date with romantic? I think we would go to a museum, sit down in front of a beautiful German tank. I would bring some wine and crackers, maybe some cheese, because he likes them cheesy strategies. I would wear my beautiful panda hat that I have lying around here in my room somewhere. And with that panda hat and the tank in the back, drinking some wine, eating a little bit of cheese, I see how this could probably work to my favor. Yeah, that's like my kind of like perfect date with romantic, I feel. If you were a regular pleb earthworm, how long would you be? I think like a good number would be 19 centimeters. I'm gonna take that. 19 centimeters pleb earthworm. That works with me. Only 19 centimeters, because I'm born on the 19th of January. It's my favorite number. Did you spend the prize money for cocaine and hoes, QQs? Most of it, yes. Most of it, yes. But don't tell the waifu. No. Keep it private. Cocaine and hoes, they're super expensive. You can either have like one good, amazing night out, or you can have like a nice bank account for a year or something like that with the money from the WCA. But I went for the one good night. What kind of software do you use to stream with? I use OBS Studio and it works pretty well with me. I use the 64-bit version with Windows 10 and yeah. I really like it. It's good. How much is the fish actually on me? I forgot the answer. I knew that the answer was on the internet. I think the fish. That's probably the $4.99 for a sub, right? $4.99. Subbing for months. PJ sold all day. If you need to go on a date with a Warcraft 3 player, who would it be and why? Mr. Tobber is asking me that. If you need to go on a date with a Warcraft 3 player, who would it be and why? This is easy. First of all, I would go with Loliot on a date, since he is that lovely little teddy bear that I like a lot and that I fall in love with during WCA 2015. We already shared our winning chair. I gave him my winning chair, and when I took it away because I had to play myself, he lost. So we already have this kind of chair story connecting us, like deeply connecting us with each other. And he likes to go to a chicken shop at midnight, eating some beautiful chicken. That's something that I really think of like as a beautiful, wonderful date in South Korea. So Loliot in the chicken shop at midnight. That's the way to go, guys. That's how I like it. Veggie is coming in with the last question of today. Would you like to participate in some big tournament again? I would like to travel to South Korea or China. Let me answer it like this. Yes. I would like to be there to create some content, to maybe like play a few games. Yes. Will you pick up Warcraft 4 once it launches and also participate in tournaments? That's something down the road, and my honest opinion about Warcraft 4, it's never going to come out. RTS genre is dead for now, will be dead for certain years, and is probably not going to come back if Blizzard is not creating a major title again. That's my thinking about that. So guys, thank you very much to everybody, every single one of you, for these beautiful and wonderful questions. I hope you had a good time listening to it. I'm not sure if you make it till the end. There's like quite a lot of talking going on. I'm not sure how much time we actually spent. Actually, it is 36 minutes already, so I'm gonna split the video in two, and I hope you're gonna have a good time. If you enjoy the channel, there will be more Warcraft content coming up. Leave a thumbs up, have a good time, leave me some comments with maybe some more questions for an up-and-coming AMA that I will do maybe in a few months again. And yeah, if you do enjoy that kind of footage, that kind of content, please keep me up with ideas, let me know what you think of, and join the Discord conversation. That's always fun. Have a good time, guys. See you then. Bye-bye.
Are you listening? Damn.